Hi guys, it's been a while, hasn't it? I can only apologise for that. And I've got a really exciting announcement, so I'll get straight into it. I don't want to, I'm just too excited. So, just to let you know, the reason that I've been a bit sparse on the videos is last year, obviously, I lost my job. I'm now in a new job, so that's really good. But also, the amazing news is that obviously I've been keeping isopods for quite a while now, and I've been working with an absolutely amazing team of people to bring in any isopod that I love, any isopod that I fall in love with, and they have just been breeding like rabbits. And I'm just doing so well with them that now, for me to fund my hobby and progress that, I am actually launching my website, so that will be here. It's called Only Pods. There'll be a hint to why when you visit the website. But this is just going to be a place for me to share what I've got with you guys. There hopefully will be options for trades. There'll be options to sell to me, all sorts of things. But mostly it's going to be selling what bits and bobs I've got spare and got breeding. Yeah, just have available to give to you guys, and I cannot wait. So that will be launching very soon. When the website does launch, there will be a couple of competitions, such as the first person to order. I won't be announcing when the website launches. I'll announce the day, but I won't announce the time. The first person to place an order will get a free 5 cherry blossoms. So there's a few competitions like that, but that is the big one. So I wanted to announce that here. So guys, the other reason that you won't see loads of videos or haven't seen lots of videos from me is because I have stopped doing unboxings. It's not because I'm stopping receiving isopods. I'm still buying from many people. It's actually because I wanted to kind of move away from that, and I wanted to, now I've got some knowledge behind me and I've done a hell of a lot of research, with the way my mind works. Every day after work, I am researching this stuff 24/7. It is just such a passion for me, and I've got a load of people, a load of contacts that I've met to kind of help me with that. So I won't call these care videos. I will call them guides to success that Josh has had. I don't know. I'll call them something, but this isn't a care guide. This isn't this is how you do it. This is how I'm doing it. And every single day that will change. Because we're learning more and more. The isopod hobby is relatively new, and I think that we all forget that. It's only around maybe 7 years old, really, in the mainstream. And as such, yeah, we're just learning new things every day. So, okay, guys, that's the spiel done. That's the announcements done. Let's get into what I'm going to be showing you today. So today I wanted to show you, I'm going to be upgrading one of my Merunella, Ardentiella. Oh, I have to put the name up. I haven't realised how to pronounce it yet, but the new name, and that is the name we're going to be using going forward. Larvas, they have been breeding like crazy. So what I'm actually going to be doing is separating out all of the adults that aren't pregnant into a new tub, and I'll leave the babies in there for a time to kind of grow up. There is juvies in there, there's all sorts. The juvies will mostly stay, it'll mostly be the adults taken out, move into the new home so they can start making babies again, basically. So that's what we're going to do today, and I wanted to show you everything that you need for the perfect Merunella, Ardentiella, whatever it is, tub, or pronouncing. So let's get into it. So all you'll need is a tub. Now the tubs that I'm going to be using, and I suggest you guys use, is something quite large. I did start with a 5 litre, and a 5 litre will be fine for anywhere from 10 specimens upwards. The problem I am finding with the 5 litre is it really is over time harder to control humidity, soil wetness, all of those things. I've just started to upgrade to these bigger tubs. I'll put the measurements down somewhere in the link to these, but mostly it is the height. So I think this is around 20 centimeters in height. If you can find something even taller, that is even better. These species, genus, are found quite high up, around chest level and below, and I'm sure there's probably some found in the tree. So what you'll need is a tub, you'll need some leaf litter, you'll want a sponge, you'll want some moss, you'll want some cork bark, you'll need your sized hole saw, or you can, which I'll come on to, use a soldering iron, some lichen sticks. I've got one here for example, and a drill. Again, you might not need the drill. So in traditional, I think we all love Art Attack as a kid, so don't worry, I've got one prepared already, but I'm just going to show you kind of what the process is really quickly. So what I'm going to do when I start to drill these out, I'm going to drill a pilot hole with another tool bit, and that will be around here, and I'll need to dictate which side is going to be the wet side. Oh sorry, you also need soil, which you'll put in here obviously. So you need the damper side and the really dry side, and you kind of just want to eyeball it. It's going to go around there, so you'll want a pilot hole first before you use this, and then use this afterwards. Now I can only suggest going medium speed, okay, and don't put any pressure on it. If it takes 5 minutes to drill through, that's fine. What you don't want is a crack, because these tubs aren't really that cheap, especially if you're buying them en masse. So you'll want to do that both sides, and then finally you'll want another hole. I've put mine here, which will be the dry side, and this is going to be where the humidity sensor goes. So for the humidity sensors I'm using, you need a 10mm drill bit, and that will make a hole just here. So let me get the one I've prepared already, and we. Oh, sorry, you also need the humidity sensor. But yeah, let me go through what I've prepared already, and yeah, I can show it off. So guys, here it is in all its glory. So let's go through what we've done. Okay, so firstly, we have drilled some holes. Now these don't have to be round, they could be square if you're going to use a soldering iron, whatever shape you want. But the important bit, you've got some mesh over this to stop the isopods coming out. Now it does look a bit messy, and if you want it to look nicer, you can buy some vents from numerous suppliers. If you're in any of the WhatsApp groups or any of the Facebook groups, you don't have to search far, but there is also many people online that sell these vents, and you can get them in all sizes to match your hole saw. So that's the first thing we've done. We've done that both sides. Okay, the next thing we've done, and this is with the height of the soil. I don't know if you can see there, but we've made the soil quite deep. Now the reason I've made this quite deep is, I would say this is about 3 to 4 inches. The reason that it's quite deep is because that helps you control your humidity, your gradient. If you've got really thin soil, it's going to be a nightmare to try and control that. So we've made it deep on purpose. However, we've still left a lot of height for the Merunella. I would say again, this is maybe 6 inches, 5-6 inches here, and we'll get into why that is in a second. And then also you can see here that I have installed the humidity sensor. I've done that by drilling the hole here. I know it doesn't look very pretty, but you can make it look better than I did. And that just pops in there and shows your humidity and your temperature. Now you might be wondering if it matters if you get a really expensive humidity sensor or a cheap one. I have found that the cheap ones are just as good as the more expensive ones. The reason I say this is because I have a lot of these, right? And when you have a lot of the cheap ones, if one looks like it's really out, well, then you've got a faulty one, right? And it's quite easy to spot that. Whereas with the expensive ones, they're very unlikely to ever fail. So if you only have one tub, I would suggest, going for a more expensive one because of the reliability. But if you're going to be doing loads of these, the cheap ones are just as good. And you can, using a little bit of common sense, you can tell if it's faulty or not. Okay, let's open the tub now and see what we've done inside. So actually, let's start on the lid. So the biggest thing and the biggest stumbling block I think that a lot of beginners fall into is they're trying to get their humidity up, so they're spraying the soil so much. This genus of isopods does not really it doesn't really appreciate wet soil, it seems. What you really want is humidity in the air. Okay, and I've tried many ways of doing this. You've got misters, you've got fog machines, you've got all sorts of maybe not a fog machine, but you've got all these different kind of tools that are quite expensive. So the cheapest way I have found is getting these awesome sponge, this sponge pad in here. You can buy it from Tesco's, B&M, wherever you want, and it's relatively cheap. The one thing I will say is wash these out a lot. They do contain soap straight out the factory, so you want to wash it again and again and again and again until you are absolutely sure that it's pretty much just sponge, right? What's also really cool, you have to be a bit careful, is sometimes the isopods will crawl up on this and you'll see the babies actually hide inside, and they seem to really like that. I'm assuming it's because it's quite humid in there. So what I do is I wet this, not to the point where it's dripping, but I wet this till you can press it and kind of feel the water, and I'll flip that up and put it on. And what that does is help keep the humidity in the air while also stopping droplets or anything like that splashing down and catching any of the pods, which probably wouldn't hurt them anyway. But that's the solution I have come up with, and that is what I would suggest to do. Like I said, you can do many other things. Try what you might like, and let me know how it goes, but this is how we're going to set it up today. And what I've done, to glue these, I would only use hot glue. There's obviously other solvents and stuff you can use. I'm not sure what effect that would have on pods, but I do know that hot glue is relatively safe for pretty much everything, so we've used some hot glue there. Okay, now let's move on into the inside of the tub. So on the inside of the tub, you will want, as I said, a nice deep substrate. You'll want this substrate to be very rich. What I usually do is I have some topsoil, some worm castings, charcoal. I'll put a list of some things I usually add in, calcium, and I add bat guano. I'm not sure that it's actually needed. That's more for the cubaris anyway, but I have it. I add it in anyway. It's not going to harm them. And also I add some flake soil as well, just to keep that soil nice and rich. Okay, so then as you can see, I've kind of set this up so that I've got some cork here for the Merunella to hide under, as well as a bunch of lichen. They love these sticks. They will eat them all day. And then what I've done at the end here, so this is the dry side over here with all of the holes, and this is the wet side. And what I've done here with the moss, it doesn't go very deep. What it actually does is it kind of spans up the tub. I've kind of made a wall of moss, and the reason for this is because really I want them to have somewhere they can get a nice drink of water, but I don't want it to absolutely saturate the tub with water, so it's really easy for me to keep this gradient. Now, again, you might be wondering, okay, Josh, well, if that's true, how do I tell if it's too dry? It is quite hard. And what I'll say is listen to the pods. Obviously, they won't tell you, but watch them, observe them. And if you're noticing that they're always over this moss side and they're always hiding amongst it, well, that means you probably do need a bit more moisture in the soil and a bit more humidity as well. If that's lower. Now, obviously, we're aiming really for this genus to be around 80 to 90%. That's where I found the most success. And you want to keep them at around 24 degrees if possible. My room's always 24, but anywhere from 24 to 28 is perfect. I do know of some success stories where they keep it under that. But I can't say it's successful because that's not how I keep them. And again, like I said, this is not a care guide. This is just how I keep my species, and a little bit of a starter for 10, and you figure out the rest along the way. So as I said, it's on this side. If you notice all of the isopods on this side of the tub, it means probably give it a bit more of a spray. Don't overspray it. It's always easier to add water than it is to take away. And just go through that, and then once you notice a good distribution, you'll know you've probably got it spot on. And obviously keep an eye on the humidity sensor here to make sure within the tub it is always above 80%. And guys, that's really it. So the contents in this tub, we've got sphagnum moss, we've got cork bark, you can use any type of bark, we've got lichen because they absolutely love it, and we've got some calcium. Now in terms of what I feed them a mixture of stuff. I've fed them mealworms, I've fed them fish food, a number of different vegetables. I would say protein once a week seems to do these guys very well. Make sure it's in small quantities. We don't want loads of mold in here. and some occasional veg as well. Once a week I do. And that's just what works for me. I also feed these guys some pollen. It doesn't always get eaten, but sometimes it does. So, you know, that's a treat. I would say do that once every 2 weeks. And that's really it, guys. There's not much more to it. I hope that this gives you kind of like an idea of how to keep your new guys if you've received some from me or anyone else. It should give you some confidence to know that you are likely going to succeed. Now, the only things I can't tell you is stuff like soil pH and so on and so forth. There will be a video coming out where I show you how you can test if your soil is acidic or if it's alkaline, and obviously you want less acidic soil. Basically across the board, right? So if you've got acidic soil, it will kill the isopods, especially Cubaris, but we're not talking about Cubaris today. What we are talking about is Ardentiella or whatever it is, Merunella, and even them, they don't prefer an acidic soil, even though they don't spend much time in it. It's the babies that are the worry. So guys, I think that is it. Gloom. Let's do the fun bit. Let's put some isopods in here and take some videos, and I'll put that here now with some music so you can watch these guys kind of mess around. If you have absolutely any questions, if you think that this video could have been better, more structured, anything like that, let me know down in the comments. And as always, guys, I'm looking forward to seeing you on the next one. Be sure to check out the website and be sure to stay tuned for any competitions. Thank you so much. Bye bye.